Hey guys, so it's Monday afternoon, it's about 3 o'clock, and I just had another meeting with the bail office. I didn't meet with Chris, I didn't meet with Dr. MacEwan, I didn't meet with Dr. Browning, I met briefly with Andrew, and I met with Anne, the office manager, who was very pleasant. And I was about 10 minutes early for my appointment, which was just made today. My new bail officer called me about 2 hours before they wanted me to come in, to say that Chris was no longer my bail officer. Katie has been assigned to me. Would I please be able to come in today to meet with Katie? I said, well, you know, I might be willing to come in and meet with Katie, but I'm not really prepared to come in to talk to Dr. MacEwan, considering that he refused to take that letter of complaint that I tried giving him last time I saw you guys. He was pushing it back to me. So I'm not really interested in meeting with Dr. MacEwan. I'm not really interested in walking into a 4-on-1 situation. Who is it going to be? Who am I going to expect to be there? You, or you and Dr. MacEwan and Dr. Browning and Andrew? And she said, well, it'll just be me, maybe Andrew. So she sounded pretty cool over the phone, so I said, okay. So I got there about 10 minutes early, and then Anne, the office manager, no, not the office manager, Anne's another one of the, you know what, Anne, I apologize. I forget in what capacity you serve in the office. Anyway, she was very cool. She came out and talked to me and was basically just explaining to me how that office, the bail office, has to pick up the pieces from whatever the court leaves behind. So they have a job to do. The courts have a job to do. The police have a job to do. You and I have a job to do. So everybody's just trying to figure it out, and she was basically trying to tell me that I don't need to be quite so defensive. So she was pretty cool. Katie came in. Katie was very cool. We didn't even really talk because by the time Katie showed up, the appointment for next week had already been scheduled. So I'm going to be appearing before the judge at 9 a.m. And then my next appointment, if I even need to go to it, is scheduled for after court. That's what she wrote on the slip, my bail office meeting slip. Instead of a specific time being given, it says after court on it. So hopefully I won't even have to make that appointment. Hopefully that will be the last time I am in that bail office, because I should have never been there in the first place. But Anne was cool, Katie was cool. We'll see how cool everyone's going to be next week when I appear before a new judge and before Ms. Graceau, who will be serving as Crown Prosecutor. I still haven't heard back from her. I've left her 2 voicemails letting her know that I'll be representing myself. She's probably very busy. I'll probably not get a chance to talk to her until the minutes prior to the hearing. But that's not really going to make much of a difference. So just a quick update, you guys, and I don't know where to begin to thank those of you out there who have set aside your issues with me to still not even come to my aid, but to come to the aid of people who were all trying to help. So you know who you are, and I thank you very much. And I wouldn't be able to keep going at the pace that I'm going and maintain the composure that I'm hopefully keeping when it counts without your help. So I thank you. Thanks a lot.
Why are you taking a brochure if you're so against this?
Oh, that's because I wanted you to talk to me.
Why?
Well, because
what does it
it's
do for
important.
you?
It's important for me to explain something
Well,
to you
we don't really
that
have
you're
an
never
interest
going
in
to have explained
We're
to
not
you
going to have
as
that
long as
interest
you're
in listening.
We're not
only
going to
looking.
have that conversation, and I
Why?
will call TransLink security.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're going to tell them that you've asked them to move along.
No, we're just asking you that we don't need to have this conversation anymore.
Well, you're standing in a public place. I have as much right to be here and talk to you. This is fun. This is fun. Oh, sorry. I'm not allowed to touch you. You're not allowed to touch me. Yeah. In what year did Jehovah's Witnesses abandon their worship of both Jehovah and Jesus in favor of only Jehovah through Jesus? Did you guys know that there was changes to the charter? What about copyright law? Has Watchtower ever violated copyright law? Do you guys know that they have? What about deliberately misquoting sources? Or changing the wording in the bound volume?
You have a lot of ideas, so please
changing the wording in the bound volume?
Do what we do.
The January
and
to
talk
January
to people,
1st.
please do. Feel
No,
free.
I much prefer to talk to people who think they know everything.
I'm a Bible student too.
Thank you.
But I'm also up to speed enough to know somebody like yourself, you're beating around the bush, you're not being direct. So be direct. Tell me what you're doing.
Who's not being direct?
Are you preaching the good news of the kingdom or not?
What do you mean preaching the good news of the kingdom?
Matthew 24:14.
Uh-huh.
Matthew 28:19 and 20. So are you doing those things?
The kingdom that was coming on 5 different occasions, according to your beliefs.
It's still coming. The apostles thought it was coming in their day.
Uh-huh.
So were they wrong?
Well, they weren't teaching what they believed at the time as a requirement for life. Where if you didn't meet them, you'd be punished.
Yeah.
You'd be shunned, you'd be disfellowshipped, you'd have privileges of service taken away,
So
you
still haven't
wouldn't be
answered
able
my
to do this.
question. What are you
Go
doing?
ahead.
Are you a Jehovah's Witness or not?
What am I doing? I'm having a conversation with a couple of sincere Bible
But
students.
you're disfellowships. Or it might as well be.
Wait a minute. Okay, you asked me what I'm doing.
Yeah. But you're not. You're being
I just
very
told you.
evasive.
Hold on a second. You really do keep interrupting me.
I know, and I'm done. I really am.
Yeah.
The Bible says not to speak with
You
anybody like
asked me what I'm doing.
Can you just give me a better rendering?
I said I am speaking to people who are similarly sincere about their study of the Bible.
But you're sowing seeds of doubt deliberately. You're not inquiring about truth. You said
Which
you
means-
were baptized. How many
Which
years
means,
ago?
what does that mean? What's your
How many
point?
years ago were you baptized?
No, back up. What
No,
I'm
no.
sowing seeds of doubt. I'm not being upfront.
Absolutely.
What does that mean?
Five times it said it was going to come.
Yeah.
So what do you call that? Seeds
I
of-
call that giving you an opportunity to defend the reason for the hope you have.
I've looked at all those things, and it's
That's
no
one thing
different
I've
than the
noticed.
apostles.
Well, I'm just telling you that it is different from the apostles. The apostles didn't
Well, that's
teach
your
first century
view.
Christians that if they didn't meet those requirements for life, they would face consequences. The way you guys are
Who makes that
facing
decision? Who makes the
consequences.
decisions about who follows the requirements of life? It's not me. It's not my wife. It's not any Jehovah's Witness. It's Jehovah. And
It's
we only have
Jehovah
that
himself.
standard. That's it. So we leave it with him. But I also
So-
know that this is also a standard that's being violated if you're talking to me. 'Cause the Bible says to
Excuse me?
not speak with a person like you. Pushing ahead.
You're jumping around. You're jumping
No,
around.
I'm not.
You are jumping around.
No.
No. You talked about God being the one responsible for the requirements for
Who
life.
makes the final decision? Who makes it?
Who makes the final decision?
Yeah, one of Jehovah's Witnesses or not?
When a person no longer chooses to believe what Jehovah's Witnesses teach.
Salvation. You're talking about salvation. So who makes the
No,
final
I was
decision?
talking about requirements for life
That's salvation.
that if they aren't met,
By whose standards?
punishment is meted out.
By whose standards?
By Watchtower standards that keep changing. See, God doesn't change. Watchtower standards change. Like, for instance, let me see if you know this. You're a 4th generation. Prior to adopting the practices in 1951 and then in 1981, what was Watchtower's stand on disfellowshipping and then shunning? And Jeffrey Jackson actually said, and I'm not kidding, he said, I don't know, I'll ask Jesus when I see him. And he didn't have an answer. 2 weeks later, he submitted a letter saying, actually, upon further thought, we've decided that no, this is scripturally accurate and we will be applying this in future instances, with the implication being Jesus spoke to him between that day and at the Australian Royal Commission and the time he wrote that letter. I mean, that is some peculiar behavior right there. You think Jesus really spoke to him and that's why he wrote that letter?
Stuart, as I mentioned, our conversation is over, so I'd like you to leave now.
See, that's what I was saying. If you can't control the conversation and it doesn't flatter you, you just say it's over. Hey, how's it going?
So how's our
Good to see you.
self-proclaimed apostate?
Our self-proclaimed apostate's doing really well. He would like a ministry work, but for the meeting tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd like to catch the meeting.
So why?
Why? Because these meetings are open to the public, and as long as a person isn't being disruptive, they get to attend these meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I get a ministry workbook, please?
No.
Why not?
You can get one online.
Okay. So I'm gonna sit through the meeting without the workbook then.
Do you have a watchtower?
No, I don't.
I mean, do you have the website?
Yes, I do. But I don't have
www.org?
an iPad. I need a hard copy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. The brother was offering to make a photocopy for me. So can I have a photocopy of the ministry workbook?
Let me see if I can find my.
Yeah.
You know, you asked me too many questions. I forgot your name.
Stuart.
Stuart. Nice to meet you, Stuart.
Nice to meet you.
Kumar. My name is Kumar.
Yeah, I know you got a lot to think about, so I'll leave you to it.
I'm
But
going to find one.
the brother in the back was saying he'll photocopy me one. So want me to just get back to him and say, fine, photocopy me one? You guys don't have to worry about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what was your name?
My name is Hagen.
Hagen. Nice to see you again, Hagen.
Yeah. The last time I saw you, you were on my bus,
I was on this bus, yeah.
and he announced to everybody on the bus that we harbor pedophiles.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell him exactly what I said, Hagen?
Or something like that.
Something like that. Well, I want the truth too, Hagen. So that's why I'm here.
Why don't you give me your name?
I love that. Yeah, sure.
I'm just going to write it down.
Yeah.
Here. So what's your name?
The last name is Business,
What's
and the
it?
first name is none of yours. Business. B-U-S-I-N. First name none of your.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're really smart.
No, I'm not too smart actually. I was dumb enough to fall for what you guys teach, but I know you're always making changes.
So why would you?
I know you're always making changes, so I'm here to see what the latest changes are. Maybe Jehovah will knock me on my butt and humble me and teach me something. You know, I'm giving the organization a chance.
Well, then try not to, like you say, be disruptive.
I won't be.
As we do what's right, then our works will always be pleasing in God's sight.
Have you ever studied the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses before?
No, I haven't.
Do yourself a big favor and start studying the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses. Because if you don't, you know what's going to happen if you don't? Ask them. Ask them. Come. What's going to happen to him if he doesn't start studying the Bible with you guys? Come on, tell him. Tell him what's going to happen if he doesn't start studying the Bible with you. You're going to look like a charred hot dog at Armageddon.
Volunteer work.
Yeah. You're going to be bird food. You're going to be bird food. The birds are going to eat you, and they're going to step over your body like this. They're going to bury you, and then they're going to plant their tomatoes and their palm trees and build their beachfront property. Yeah. See, they're smiling and friendly.
Yeah.
And if you were to go to a meeting, they'd all come up to you and they'd be like, "Hi! Oh, sit next to me. Come here. Oh, do you have a ride? Let's give you a ride." And then they're gonna be sharing the offer of the month. Like this is the offer for the month, right? And then in 2 months there's going to be another offer for the month.
Got it, yeah.
And then if you keep going, overnight they're going to stop being offers for month. They're going to become suddenly requirements for life.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be about becoming an unbaptized publisher,
Yeah.
a baptized publisher,
I just only take
an
one week.
auxiliary pioneer, a regular pioneer, a Bethelite, a Gilead graduate, a missionary, or whatever. Like it never ends. Like you guys are both regular pioneers, right? Come on, you're both regular pioneers, right? You should be proud to tell me that you're both regular pioneers. They're probably both regular pioneers. So you see what I mean, right? Like they've ascended.
Yeah.
They've ascended in the cult to be worthy of standing here. But try asking them questions, and this is what you get. So join this cult today. Be like them. If you're lucky, in 10 years. If you're lucky, in 10 years. What's your name? Rickham. My name's Stuart.
Hi.
Yeah. So get started.
Yeah.
Get started.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I'm like this is because I used to be one of them.
No, I get it going.
And I had so much kept from me.
Yeah.
It's not funny. And the way they talk about people who leave this organization,
Yeah.
you should hear what they say.
Yeah.
And like they don't want to find out for sure. They're too busy just being flattered by their cult language, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But they're here all the time. And guess what? I'm here all the time too.
The thing is that there's people that are not educated or smart enough. You could be messing with people that they don't have the capacity. So, because that's an example.
Give them a break.
It's
Are you telling me to just go away and give them a break?
Well,
Because that's what's happened before. Like other people have done this work, and the last thing the cop has said
is, would you mind just leaving them alone? Because we'd really rather not come babysit.
Okay.
Is that what you're telling me? Is that about what you're about to tell me?
No, that's not what I'm not trying to.
I don't want to babysit Jehovah's Witnesses. Leave them alone. I want to listen. I want to be educated because I'm pretty sure it's not lawful for me to push you and then call the police and cry harassment because you disagreed with me. And I'm pretty sure it's not lawful for me to threaten you with police involvement and then tell the police I've asked you to leave. That's what I'm saying about the games they play.
Yeah.
My name is Stuart.
Stuart?
Yeah. Please leave. Thank you. Please leave, sir. Sir, please leave. See, I've asked you guys to leave before, and you've left before, so please leave. Please leave, sir. I'm asking you politely to please leave. Ma'am, would you mind packing up your cart and leaving, please?
I just do.
Why are you being... What the brother says? Okay, so she's not allowed to think for herself. You have to tell her what to do? Okay. So please leave, sir.
This guy's always entertaining.
He's always entertaining. Okay. Please leave, sir.
Where did you get this camera anyways? It's kind of neat.
Why are you being so uncooperative? Please leave. I never asked questions at the time that it took being disloyal to Jehovah to ask. And in the process of doing some hard research, I learned some things about this organization that unfortunately you guys are never going to learn only looking to Watchtower. And I remember the first time you people started talking about people who leave the organization, apostates, demonically possessed, deceitful, mentally diseased apostates, I thought, wow, okay. So here I am, I have found the true God, I have found the truth, I'm building a relationship with the creator of heaven and earth, I'm forming relationships with spiritual men and women. If I were to ever stop doing this, that would mean that I must be demonically possessed. I must be mentally diseased. I must be deceitful. So of course I was afraid to listen to anybody who had left the organization. But in the process of actually listening to people who've left this organization and trying to reason with Jehovah's Witnesses who haven't left.
Don't mind if I film this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what you tell them. Yeah. In the process of leaving the organization and learning about how you people really treat people who leave this organization, it's interesting to note that you're the deceitful ones. You're the hypocrites. You're the cowards. See, you won't call Caesar, you won't call the authorities when a child summons the courage to report having been raped by one of Jehovah's Witnesses. You leave it to Jehovah to handle, don't you? You're an elder, you know about page 72 in the Shepherd the Flock of God manual. If a child summons the courage to actually come forward and talk about abuse, and there isn't a second witness, or the abuser doesn't confess, you leave it in Jehovah's hands. And you hide behind that camera, making this disgusting smirk while I talk about child rape. And what's interesting is, I'm not the only person doing this work. Every time we mention organizational policy that's making it possible for the scum of the earth to go unreported to the proper authorities, you pull dirty tricks like this. You smirk like you're smirking. You try to turn the tables on me right now instead of just admitting that you feel bad. I hope honestly that you do feel bad that the scum of the earth are being protected in your organization thanks to your loyalty to it.
Stuart, why don't you just behave yourself?
Why don't you behave yourself and just leave? Politely, lovingly, and mildly and respectfully, leave. Cooperate with a simple request.
Is this your property?
It's not your property.
I work here.
Oh, good.
What right do you have to tell anyone to leave?
I'm not telling any. See, that's where you're wrong. I'm not telling anyone to leave. I'm politely asking you to leave. make sure you tell them that I'm asking you to leave. People like me are dead. We've turned our backs on Jehovah. We haven't responded to his love. We've given up on being loyal servants to his one and only lasting solution to mankind's problems, and we've refused to let the elders shepherd us, so we're just dead to you now. Right? You can admit that that's what you believe. See, when push comes to shove and you have a chance to really say it to someone's face, you just stand there mute. Tell me I've been written out of the book of life. Tell me I've been written out of the book of life. Somebody like me comes along and kind of pokes at your little power trip, your little ego trip as God's true servants, and you need to like scramble for a way to stay high on yourself, so you call Caesar. Or you pretend to call him. Have you called him? Anyway. When did you get the truth, by the way? Were you raised in this cult? Let me guess, you were raised in this cult, or you were very young. You were 10. You were 10 or 11 when you first got exposed to the good news of God's kingdom. You told me, I remember. I was 17, and the couple that took the interest in me, whoa, did they take an interest in me. They were coming to pick me up at my home, bring me to their home to have the study. And then in a couple of weeks, I guess they thought I was ready to go to a meeting, and that first meeting I went to, wow. Oh, Jehovah's Witnesses know how to make a newly interested person feel really, really welcome. Oh, sir, you're pushing into me. You're pushing into me. I'm trying to read the memorial invitation. Why are you pushing into me? See, you guys initiate the physical contact. You initiate the physical contact. And then you call the police and you talk about how I harass you. That's amazing how you guys won't look at yourselves the way you want everyone else in the world to look at themselves. That's amazing. And when somebody like me turns up to present you with some arguments you don't want to hear, you call it Satan. You snatch our personal property out of our hands and you initiate physical contact and you call the police. See, when it suits you to just bully people, you bully people. And when it suits you to be persecuted Christians, then that's what you are. It's amazing. No one's ever going to hate you guys for being true Christians. We're too busy being shocked at how ridiculous believing what you believe has turned you into in this day and age. Anyway, I hope the police do come. You're chuckling at the demon-possessed apostate, aren't you? I can't possibly have anything to show you about yourself. The only person in the world who can show you something about yourself is the 7 men in New York. People who leave this organization are just dead. So it's okay to call the police, to lie to the police about what happened, to initiate physical contact, and to call yourself the persecuted one. It's okay to just do whatever you want. I mean, Jehovah's just going to kill us anyway at Armageddon, so what difference does it make if you treat us like dirt between now and then? Would you like to know why it's not a problem?
I wouldn't actually.
You just want to think you know everything there is to know to control a situation like this instead of getting educated. Go to libelandprivacy.com, click on areas of service, click on privacy, and learn about legal precedents set in British Columbia and find out how it's actually totally legal for me to film you.
Okay, well, have a nice day.
Stupid boy.
Hey, are you Stuart?
Would you guys mind packing up and leaving, please?
No, we're going to be here for a bit.
Why are you saying that, Stuart?
I'm just asking you to leave. I was talking to some sisters yesterday, and they asked me to leave, and I left right away. So I thought, let me see if you guys are going to be as cooperative with the same request at another time. So I'm just asking you guys to please leave. Would you guys mind leaving?
while we're here
No,
doing
Stuart,
our thing?
No.
You're not going to leave?
No.
Okay.
I
Please
miss
leave.
you, Stuart. I
Please
miss
leave.
You. You were my friend.
That's good.
We were friends.
That's very good. That's very good, Mark. I know exactly.
You
I
know
know
me for
exactly what you're
years.
doing. Well, I didn't know Watchtower at the time.
Is your pen on right now?
Whoa. You know, that's funny.
Oh,
like,
that's interesting.
That's funny. The sister over there in front of Best Buy a couple of days ago. I don't know. She's an English bae. She's got red hair, older sister, English accent. She helped herself to just grabbing this. Grabbing it. Like, were you about to grab it, by the way?
No, I was just wondering if it was. If
But you
it's
reached
your
for it.
Pen that's on.
You were reaching for it
Yeah. So, do you want me to grab it?
with the intention of just like pointing at it, or
You've
like
got a camera on us, Stuart.
grabbing
so,
it. Anyway, let me finish. So I was filming her, which is, by the way, perfectly legal for me to do, by the way. And
what does it do for you?
hold on a second. This is what I've noticed about cult members. You don't let people finish their stories. So I was filming them over there in front of Best Buy, a public place, and she helped herself to grabbing it.
Wow.
Full on grabbing it. And then a couple of minutes later, Louis showed up, Sheldon showed up, like the way you guys show up in numbers, like when you can't dominate the situation, you call other witnesses to come. So maybe 4-on-1 will work, maybe 6-on-1 will work. So 2 other witnesses came. And then
why do you like us so much?
Hold on a second.
Why do you like us so much?
Hold on a second. And then I was.
No. Why do you like us so much?
Why don't you let me finish the story?
Why do you like us so
Why
much?
do you keep proving what a cult member you are?
Sorry, what?
I'm politely asking you to leave.
Why?
I'm just asking you to leave.
No, we're not going to leave. I'm sorry.
Why not? I said, okay, you guys want to film me, but let me be in the room the first time you show it to somebody so we can talk about what was happening. You give your explanation of what was happening, I give my explanation of what was happening, and we'll see who's more honest about what happened. And that was why I started doing some real research in the Watchtower, because loyalty to Watchtower was making me behave the way you guys are behaving right now. Dishonestly, hypocritically, aggressively. And I said, okay, how has this happened to me? I am loyal to Jehovah, I'm loyal to Watchtower, yet I keep not investigating all this information over here. What am I so afraid of? And then when I got over the jitters and started watching videos of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and I went to jwfacts.com and I went to jwsurvey.org and I watched the footage from the Australian Royal Commission, I realized, you know what? Something's wrong here. And that's why when I first started doing this work, I would ask brothers and sisters when they got the truth. Like, when did you get the truth?
I don't want to talk.
See, that's the thing.
No, I just.
So in the process, in the process of asking brothers and sisters who were still standing next to these carts when they got the truth, like 80% of the time, I've asked maybe about 50 or 60 of them. 80% of the time, I got to look like I'm reading this, or it looks like I am loitering. That's why he wanted to grab it. Try telling the cop that I'm loitering now. Try telling the cop that I'm loitering now. Yeah, so in the process of asking brothers and sisters when they got the truth, 80% of the time they said, oh, I got it from my parents, or I got it when I was very young. Like, I was very young. I was about 17. So I thought, you know what? It kind of looks like God himself has reached through a world of blinded unbelievers to draw me. Oh, what a privilege. The creator of heaven and earth has singled me out, and he's drawing me into a relationship with him using these beautiful people. So I thought, you know what, okay, let me look into becoming an unbaptized publisher. And then a baptized publisher. And then an auxiliary pioneer. And then a regular pioneer. And then a ministerial servant. And then an elder. And maybe a circuit overseer. Maybe go to Bethel. Maybe learn another language. Like on and on and on. And it never ended. And I remember as soon as I started studying, like it's probably in here somewhere. This is why I'm going to take this home to see if I'm right. As soon as I started studying, I remember the literature would stress how people who get baptized and then leave the organization have given themselves over to demons. They've let the world entice them more than the privilege of being a subject of God's kingdom, and they're demonically possessed, and they end up kind of just falling off the fringes of society and kind of being useless and whatnot. And I thought, okay, you know what? Please, Jehovah, don't ever let me do that. Now that I've made all this progress and I've quit smoking and I've got some meetings under my belt and I might qualify to be this and I might qualify to be that and then I might qualify to be this. Please don't ever let me fall out of the boat, because I would never want to do that. But then once I got over those jitters and started doing some real research into people who leave this organization, what do you think I learned? Do you think people who leave this organization have been written out of the book of life? Do you think people who leave this organization have nothing to look forward to but groveling back to Watchtower or just dying at Armageddon? Those are the only two options for us? So I have questions about what I was learning and what I wasn't told, and you try to get into a conversation with Jehovah's Witnesses as an ex-witness, and this is what they resort to.
Okay.
Like all day long, they violate my rights. I've got to update this, actually. Like one of them grabbed personal property away from me, and they go like this, and they kind of push into you, initiating physical contact. So like, that's what I'm saying. And I don't call you because I want to understand, how do you call yourself members of the one and only true Christian religion and yet treat people who leave this religion that way? Like, I want to get to the bottom of it and never call you, because this is what they want. They want you to come so there's an interruption and whatever, and they can tell the story they want later. You know what? You didn't indicate a time on there. That was one thing you guys forgot to do. You were in such a hurry to get me into a 3-on-1 situation. So you couldn't 7:30 p.m.? Okay.
Sounds good.
What sounds good?
You coming to me on Monday.
The judicial hearing? What am I to expect in the judicial hearing?
Well, you have an opportunity to voice what your thoughts are, and we will do the same.
What else am I to expect? Do you guys mind if I filmed this?
Yes, we do.
To protect myself?
There's no recording of any sort.
Well, you know what? All things are naked and openly exposed before Jehovah. And in a real, hold on a second, and in a real judicial hearing, people are allowed to have a court recorder present so that the record can be referred to for future reference.
In a legal hearing.
If you guys,
judicial.
if you guys want to just jump right to the part where you fill out the S-77 and say reason for disfellowshipping, apostasy, we can just jump right to that part right now. Because I have been a full-blown apostate for about 7 or 8 months. Like, you guys should have had this hearing with me about 7 months ago. Okay. So unless I can record it, that's all it's going to be for you. Yeah. You're just going to put apostasy on the S-77, send that to the branch, tie my spirituality to a piece of paper, and that's good enough for you?
No, I'm just saying we don't need to have this meeting.
If you confess to it, then that's all.
I've been confessing to it.
Oh, okay. Good.
Openly for months.
All right then.
Yeah. But just so we're clear, when you fill it out and you put apostasy, would you mind putting XJDub as the YouTube channel so that whoever gets it at the branch can go and see for themselves what I've been doing?
Them as well.
And I'm so sure of how reasonable I'm being with you that I would love to have this conversation in front of them.
Okay. Again,
that's my dream.
I'm not here.
Their nightmare is having their conversation with you with me standing right there.
Stuart,
because they are comfortable lying, twisting, and misrepresenting.
I'm not here to pick sides.
Cool.
You guys could be, one of you could be a pro-abortionist, the other one could be pro-life. No. You know what I mean?
You've got,
to me,
right.
I put on this uniform. I don't have an opinion on anything. The only thing I
You've
know
got enough
is
to keep straight without,
the only thing I know is has a law been violated. That's all I know.
Cool.
So my opinion doesn't matter. Once I put this on, I'm not pro-religion, anti-religion. I am what I am. Has an offense been violated?
Cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so what I actually did, like I said, I'm not. It's basically from what I'm able to understand right now, an offense hasn't been committed.
Would you guys mind leaving, please? Because you don't have permission to be here. This is a public area, so maybe you guys wouldn't mind leaving. Okay. Can we really believe what the Bible says? Oh. I was thinking, when people get into conversations with you that you don't want to have, I remember when this first started, the direction was, ask them to step aside so you have that conversation like over there or over there, right? And then when you don't get to control that conversation, or when that conversation doesn't flatter you, you get to say, okay, well, since you're not really interested in hearing the good news of God's kingdom or going to jw.org or whatever, we're going to go back to our stand. You have a nice day. And then if the person follows you back to the stand, you then get to say that they're stalking you. Have you thought about that? That just occurred to me today. Sure, why don't we step over here and talk about it? And then if the gentleman or the lady follows you back to the stand, you get to call the police and say you've been stalked. Welcome to another episode of early 21st century cult members in the Pacific Northwest, everybody. Today is Friday, May 18th. We are in Vancouver, British Columbia. And again, for our series, we're going to be examining the behavior of Jehovah's Witnesses, who definitely fall into the category of cult members. Hi, brother. How you doing, sir? I looked like a fool just there. That actually happened last time. I didn't upload it because I looked really stupid, but I'll leave that in there. I'll leave that in there. It's good. It's good to look stupid from time to time. And nobody knows how to make Jehovah's Witnesses look really stupid the way ex-Jehovah's Witnesses do and are doing in greater and greater numbers. And you know what? At the end of the day, it is an act of love. It is an act of love. It's tough love. It was loving of the guy to shoot Old Yeller through the head at the end of the movie. So, you know, in that moment, yeah, he wasn't a very nice guy. But ultimately, it was a loving provision for Old Yeller to be shot through the head.
But it was about sexual abuse or something. So,
okay.
So in that range.
In that area, yeah. And it was just, you didn't really pay any much more attention to it.
Not so much, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have paid attention to it.
Okay. Well, thanks for bringing it.
Does that make me unfaithful? Does that make me not love God as much as you and my neighbor to want to investigate claims people are making about Watchtower making it possible for pedophiles to go unpunished?
I would say that's your free choice of looking into it.
That's right.
Yeah,
just like it's your free choice not to look into it.
Well, but
which you've obviously chosen to do because you said you've never heard of it.
But I do respect yours.
So I've chosen to look into it, and now I'm informed, and you're standing here representing this organization admitting that you're not informed.
And
that's kind of messed up.
But I hope you respect that.
Actually, I came to a meeting last time, since the last meeting I was here, and the brothers threatened to phone the police, but the police never came because I wasn't disrupting the meeting. So I give you my word. I give you my word as a gentleman that if you let me in here, I will not say a word.
But it's not about your disrupting the meeting at this point because they know you, Stuart.
Who knows me?
These brothers and sisters know you, and you.
What do they know?
No, they.
You know what? Unless they're being disruptive, people.
But you.
Who would like? Let me finish.
Now,
no, I'm not. Well, you're not letting me in.
You've
initiated this disruption by not letting me into the meeting.
No, the police actually have told us this is private property.
You don't know
have to be here.
what I'm going to do.
Right now.
Call them right now.
I can't call them right now.
Call them right now.
Because this is private property.
Are you threatening, or are you going to call them?
I'm not threatening.
Well, make up your mind. Because I'm telling you that unless they're being disruptive, people who would like to learn more about the Bible are welcome in this and every other Kingdom Hall, and I don't disrupt the meetings. I do not sit
with wicked men of lies. I hate the company of those who truth despise. Jehovah, please don't take away my life with men who take delight in bribery.